So here's 9 books that I think everybody who's interested in business and property should definitely read. I've read these and I'll give you a quick breakdown of each one. So the first book is probably the most life-changing book I've ever read, and a lot of people have read it too, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And it's life-changing because it gives you a different perspective on money and life, assets, liabilities, and it gives you a different way of looking at those things. And for me, that changed my mindset on how I make money, how I make profit, how I spend money, and how I try and achieve my own goals. The second book is The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferris, another life-changing book. Tim Ferris just put together this really unique way of optimizing his time. That's probably the best way to describe this. That book is all about optimizing your time, making the most of your time, and being the most productive that you could possibly be. Now, I found it very hard to do all of the things that Tim Ferris put in that book, but I certainly think that if you focus on even just some of those things, your time will be so well spent, and your productivity, your profit, your optimism, your motivation, everything just skyrockets. The third book is The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen R. Covey. This one's quite an old book, but the points that he makes, those 7 habits, are still absolutely relevant now. And it made me really look at myself and the way I do things, the way I think about things, what fears I have, what I feel I'm good at, what I feel I'm bad at, and how I think about things. It really made me think quite carefully about how I see my world. The fourth book is Like a Virgin by Richard Branson. Just an absolute adventure business storybook. It's incredible. This guy had one hell of a life, and along the way, you learn a hell of a lot from him. And actually, I kind of related a few of his experiences to a few of mine. He just did his with a few extra zeros on the end, I expect. The fifth book is Shoe Dog, which is the story of Nike. Absolutely inspirational, but also quite surprising. I never thought this story about Nike was true. I didn't realize how close it came to not being anything multiple times. It was kind of always on the brink of collapse until it made it huge. The sixth book is The Real Deal by James Caan. James Caan, you probably know him from Dragon's Den, made a massive business in the recruitment world, but I really enjoyed his mentality on people and doing deals and creating deals and putting people together and putting business together and having people really motivated and working with him. I really enjoyed that. That was a good one. The seventh book might be a bit surprising, but I promise you, Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, for me, is one of the biggest achievers in history. From his bodybuilding, his business, political campaign, like him or not, doesn't matter, but political campaign, his movies, everything. And he's done a few things that you never knew came from Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's invented things that are huge that you never knew were Arnold Schwarzenegger. The eighth book that I definitely recommend you should read is Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Now, this is somebody else's account of Steve Jobs, and he's interviewed tons of people that were working with Steve Jobs and his friends and family and so on. And this is a really in detail analysis of Steve Jobs, founder of Apple and owner of Pixar and all those things. Really inspirational book, and also gives you a good insight into a different way of doing business and a different way of thinking about your business. It was very clever. And the last book I'm going to tell you, book number 9, is What You See Is What You Get by Alan Sugar. Alan Sugar can be, I guess, some people like him, some people don't, but his story was quite interesting actually. Very basic rules of business. You buy it at this price, you sell it at this price. And he had a very effective way of simplifying everything. And that really struck with me, because I think a lot of people in business and a lot of people in property and investing and all of those things, they overcomplicate something. They'll look too far into it, they'll think it can't be done, and then they won't do it. But Alan Sugar, throughout his whole book, you see a definite trend of how to really simplify a problem or really simplify an objective or a goal. So that was a really good read. So those 9 books again: Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferris, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen R. Covey, Like a Virgin by Richard Branson, Shoe Dog, The Story of Nike, The Real Deal by James Caan, Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson, and What You See Is What You Get by Alan Sugar. Go and have a read of those books, and if you don't mind, post some comments or email me and tell me what books you've read, because I'm looking for more books to read now. I'm currently reading The Inner Game of Golf at the moment, because you know I love a game of golf. So let me know what books you're reading, because I will be looking for the next books next after I've read this one. So speak to you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.